All right. Okay.
I'm also going to start.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good morning to all the
Let me
participants.
welcome you, sir.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Chief guest of today, Dr. Morgan, professor, delegates from various institutions, and my own faculty members from Bharathiar University Arts and Science College, Pollachi. A very good morning to all. My friend, Dr. Mohan, a highly motivated, research-oriented computer science educator with nearly 2 decades of experience in teaching, both in academy and industry, multicultural students in India and Middle East. Recently, he volunteered to be a program evaluator at ABET for Computer Accreditation Commission. He committed to enhance the educational experience of students worldwide. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Mohan has been working as a faculty at the School of Computer Information and Mathematical Sciences, the University of South Pacific, Fiji. Earlier, he worked for a university in Saudi Arabia universities, both in Amrita and Karunya in India, and Industry Infosys Limited. He has more than 20 years of experience in academics, industry, and research. To his credit, he successfully supervised 6 PhDs and he published 3 edited books, 10 chapters, and more than 50 research papers in reputed international journals and conferences. He is a PhD in computer science and master in computer cognition technology, both from the University of Mysore, and bachelor's in computer science and engineering from Bharathiar University. His areas of research include intelligent computing, machine learning, computer graphics, and vision. Dr. Morgan organized and served as a program committee member at various international conferences that are published by IEEE, Springer, etc. He is also a senior member of IEEE and a member of ACS. He has a handful experience with online teaching and learning systems as he implemented and enabled students and faculty members with learning management system at various institutions. About Dr. Mohan, his student has given many positive testimonials about. I would like to share few things about the students have given him. It is pleasure to have Dr. Mohan as a teacher. He is very professional and knowledgeable about the subjects what he teaches. He is very supportive and always pushing the students to be better and learn the lessons completely by implementing the things we learn in a real world scenario. His door is always open to listen and give advice about different topics outside the world. And about his research, he is very passionate in his research. During his tenure at Infosys, he was one of the most sought after educated by students. He has built several proofs of concept during his tenure at Infosys. He has mentored several employees in research and allied activities. Always calm and collected, he is a team player and an asset for any organization. Dr. Mohan is an excellent fit for the industry of academics as he is adept at knowing what his student Brethren wants for the corporate industry. He infuses the spirit of going forward and making the difference as innovative as only Dr. Mohan. Mohan sir, really we are delighted to have you today. It's our pleasure. And last but not least, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the participants from all over the country. We got registration from Jammu Kashmir, Nepal. So it's really we are what I can say. People are expecting more from us. It is forced to serve better. So with this, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Morgan. Morgan sir, please.
Thank you, sir, for your nice words about me. Actually, I was surprised to listen from you about the students' feedback about myself. I don't know from where you collected. Thank you so much for your. Okay, thanks for your homework. All right, so this is a very pleasant surprise or pleasant moment for me to host an event to my fellow Indians and other international participants. After a long time, I'm hosting a session for my Indians. Almost last 7 years, I was not in India. So thanks again for Dr. Krishnaraj sir and the team for organizing such an event during this pandemic time to get connected and get educated in various areas. I've been watching Dr. Krishnaraj's activities all this time. He is doing a fantabulous job. I'm really happy to host this session on online tools and techniques. Because a couple of weeks back when Dr. Krishna sir asked me about hosting a session, I suggested this topic because I've been into this online teaching ever since this pandemic has started, and ever since the lockdown has started. Any part of the world is the same now. So I said that this topic could be more ideal, and he said this is a very fantastic topic. Then we'll go ahead about that. So that's how we started, and we are we are executing it now. I'm really thankful to the organizers for doing such a wonderful job. And also, I'm very thankful to the participants who are here. I'm sure you have a lot of expectations. I just went through your profiles and your background from your registration details. I'm sure you will be able to get some input from me. This is what I'll ensure at the end of this session. I'm sure you will have certain things to carry and explore at the end of this session. So let me start without wasting much of time. I think we have about 2 hours time. Let me roughly say that we will have about 90 minutes presentation, and then last 15 minutes we'll keep it for the discussion. And during the presentation, I'll be going on and off from the slide. I'll be going to various web applications and other applications, and I'll be going on and off. So if there is anything that you are missing from my flow of presentation, please let me know so that I can repeat. I know that we are all getting disturbed with the data connectivity. So let's see the best of the things that we can attain at the end of this session. So right, so let me start the topics for the day. I'm going to start with the challenges for the teachers, particularly when we are suddenly making a paradigm shift, and we are it's like a spike. It's not a linear shift, it's a spike. So we are suddenly shifting from the offline to online, or the face-to-face to the online. Some of people like me, since we have experienced this digital learning, or the digital platforms which are available for the online teaching, it's not a big impact. The only thing is we had to just quickly learn some things, refresh certain things, and then quickly go on to the remote teaching mode. For me, I started teaching blended mode. In this university, we have something called blended mode because in Fiji, there are many island countries around this Fiji Islands. All the South Pacific islands are having the center from Fiji. Fiji has the major university. This is the University of the South Pacific, which is more than 50 years old, which is actually a regional university where all these 13 island countries are part of this, the university. So the thing is, except the Fiji island, the rest of the islands, there are still campuses and where the students will come and register, and whatever sessions we are hosting, that goes online. The sense when I teach in the classroom, that's getting recorded, and that will be uploaded into the server where the students from other island countries can listen to that whenever they can find time. So after the pandemic, the shift was from this face-to-face mode, where the students were not allowed to sit in the classrooms. So what we did, whatever we had been doing with the same, online students, the remote students, we just started doing the same thing. So the shift was not that rigorous because the university was already practicing this kind of, online mode. But still, we faced a lot of challenges in terms of some of the points that I'm going to tell you from the next slides. I know in many institutions in India, we had been practicing only offline mode because of the norms, and suddenly all of us were forced to jump to the online mode. So I know that most of us would have faced a lot of difficulties in terms of identifying the tools and the methods of teaching remotely from home. So let me talk about that, and then I'll talk about a principle called eModeration, which is not new, which is not which is not developed during the pandemic. It was existing for more than a decade about the way we conduct the classes, engage the students, and conduct the assessments online. And then we'll move on to the tools related to the classroom management. That's typically the learning management systems, and then content creation tools, where the tools that'll be useful to the teachers to create the contents in terms of the video, audio, or an interactive tools, interactive materials for your classroom engagement. And then the most important tool is the assessment tool. Remote teaching is okay because of the tools like Zoom will be able to teach, but then how will you assess whether the outcomes are achieved, and then how the students have learned the things? How will you assess it? What are the challenges in those assessment also will be able to see. Then the live communication tool, I know the most popular now in this pandemic is Zoom. Other than that, we have many tools that we can still use free of cost. I'm going to show some of them. And then finally, out of this anxiety in identifying the tools, probably we might have forgotten some of the basic tools that we already have, but then we have forgotten, or we do not know how to use it, or we are not sure whether these tools do support this kind of remote teaching or the online teaching. So I'm going to touch upon some of the tools towards the end. Right. So the first thing is the challenges for the teachers. As I told you at the beginning, when you shift from the offline mode to the online mode, suddenly you are exposed to learn certain new things, which you probably might be not aware, or probably you might have kept it at the back, or at the kind of for example, most of you might be using Moodle or any LMS packages. So the institutions might be using it only for sharing the materials without using much of the features of the tools like Moodle. Suddenly, you might have been exposed to such tools where all the other features also might be of interest to you. How to learn that? How long will it take to learn? We don't have much time, or we didn't have much time when we started the online teaching. So that learning curve is very important. That's a big challenge. How quickly we learn the tool, right? So particularly the teachers who are experienced at the level of professor and the senior professors, when we ask them to learn these computer-based tools, they struggle a lot. I have seen some of my senior colleagues in my previous university who has never worked in even Excel sheets, but they are very good at their classroom teaching. There is no doubt about that. But then when it comes to handling these digital stuff, they were really struggling, right? So that learning of how long will it take to adapt to the new things. And then the assessment. See, every course has a certain course learning outcome. To meet the outcome, we need to deliver those topics and ensure whether the students have met the outcome or not through the assessment. So these assessments are summative, formative, direct, indirect, all those types of assessments are there. You know how to conduct them in the classroom, the face-to-face mode, but then how to conduct that in the online mode. That's really challenging. You know why? Because the students take it as an advantage. Yesterday, I conducted one quiz online where there were 140 students. I framed the questions in a way that students may not be able to copy quickly. That is also a challenge, to set the questions in a way that the students don't copy from others, or if they try to copy also, because of the time limits, they'll be unable to do it on time. So with above all of them, I found that a couple of students have copied. I don't have any witnesses, but from the time limit that I have allowed, 40 minutes quiz, most of the students have taken almost 35 minutes, 40 minutes to complete the quiz, but just a couple of guys have finished in 8 minutes, 17 minutes. So that shows clearly that they've got the answers from someone who has already attended, and they have picked up the answers from, since there are many students, even if you keep a repository of questions and shuffle them and then put the random questions, still they'll be able to get the answers, at least 90% of them, right? So the smart students, that's the last point. And then the data entry and analytics, the way we have to enter the data into the system, we keep track of those reports, analytics. For example, I wanted to check how many students are active, following me in the online teaching. Some of them were not at all active since the pandemic started. Right? That's quite a big challenge for us to bring them on track. So that's the next point, engaging the students online. So keep them engaged. So the students are not really motivated in the sense, unless it's really interesting for them, it's really a motivation for them, it's very difficult to engage the students online. So bringing them online, keeping them with our sessions, keeping them with our track, it's very, very big challenge. And then of course the interaction. So how do you interact? Usually in the face-to-face method, when we go to the college or the university, usually the students meet us. They come to our to our office for any consultation. We address the issues just like that. But then when there is an issue, how will they interact with you? Of course, you have the emails, the chat through the LMS, but then they are not sometimes real time, right? So you may have to set up some kind of weekly discussion time. So that's again a challenge, how to fix that particular time, because that time you may be free, the students may not be free, right? So I'm talking about the online timing. And the timing I have not mentioned here. The time is a big challenge for the faculty members to maintain, because right from morning till late night, we can just keep getting mails, keep getting messages from the students, and we keep responding to them. It's like, I feel like this pandemic time, we are getting connected to the students, not at a very accumulated phase, but then one after the other, it just keeps coming, accumulating, and it just engages our time into a whole, not into like 6 hours or 8 hours per day, the whole, right, except the sleeping time. And then the last point is how to be smarter than the smartest of our students, right? So any loopholes in the systems, every system, every tool has its own weaknesses. So these weaknesses are easily understood by the students, because they are all open to anything, communication. They know by searching in the Google how to suppose if you have a plagiarism tool, they know how to tackle the plagiarism tool, how the plagiarism tool works, and what way we can tackle that. So for example, I say anything more than 20%, you have to resubmit. So they know how these systems work. They try to identify, right? So you need to be one step ahead of them in terms of using these tools. That's also quite a big challenge now at this time. Right, so I'm talking about the eModeration now. So the eModeration was introduced by Gilly Salmon, and then she's a well-known professor in the pedagogical teaching methods. You can see there are 5 stages. The sense, when you're going for this kind of online teaching and learning, so that is actually called as eModeration. Any activity related to the online teaching is called as ETVT. ETVT, that's activity, just remove the act, replace with E, that becomes the ETVT. So she explains them in 5 stages, the eModeration. So if you look at the eModeration, or the way you interact with the online students, it looks just as a hike, as a mountain. So you need to go slowly, step by step, and you also bring the students into the online mode step by step. So the first thing is access, where the participants are well acquainted with the types of tools and actually the online environment. So getting used to the online environment, I'm going to say that this is also the same thing applicable for the teachers, because we are all forced to enter into the eModeration now, right? So this is all new for us. So the tools are new, the environments are new, right? So they didn't have much of time to familiarize themselves or with the platforms and the tools. And then the next one, once they get access to that, they go to the socialization, where the participants keep interacting with each other, also with the facilitators, that's the instructors, and form a kind of learning community. right? So that's where people start learning. Okay, so this is how I should engage. This is how I should communicate with my fellow students and the teachers. And then they go ahead with that. The third one is the information exchange, where they just start working as a group and then start exchanging the information and then participate in many activities. So they keep growing into those kind of activities, and the confidence also goes up, and they call themselves as the e-learners, and then they keep assisting each other. So that's very important. They also keep assisting each other. Now, I'll tell you one example towards somewhere in the middle, how these people can engage among themselves in the online platform. That's really interesting. The knowledge construction, where the people, they keep acquiring the knowledge, and then they know that they have to learn. They have the responsibility to learn, and then they are feeling more guided, and they are more confident, and keep building their knowledge in their mind. Finally, the development stage, where once they are into the top level of the e-learning, where they just keep learning, right? So that's what is more important. Actually, the Western University have started, most of the Western universities have started with the online teaching long back. Not now, they have started long back, but this is the time they are aggressively going for it. Many people are used to this online teaching because it has the freedom of learning at their own pace. So that's why people, most of the people, particularly the working class people, they like this online teaching. They don't have to go physically anywhere, sit in a classroom. Likely, whether they like it or not, they have to go. But this one, according to their learning abilities, right? So that happens. So this is what Gilly Salmon has spoken. I think this is about a few minutes of video. Right, so this is the video. Just 4 minutes. I'll just play this. Yeah. Well, interestingly, these two people have climbed the Mount Everest in 1952 on May 29th. So a day before today. Yesterday was May 29th, right? So just it's an interesting coincidence.
No, sir, we are not able to see the video. Is it playing now?
It's playing on my screen.
No, we are not able to see. That's why.
I'm sharing it in my screen. What do you see in my screen?
The fish, Gilly Salmon.
Oops, I just moved on. Oh, 1 minute. I'm sorry for that. I think you were able to hear the audio.
Yeah, we can hear the audio.
I think I shared only the PowerPoint screen. Just a minute. All right, so let me share my whole desktop. Are you able to see that?
Yeah, now it's okay. Please enlarge it, maximize it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I was just, all right, so here. Is okay now?
Okay. Please play. Sound. Kindly share the computer audio sound. If you go to the tools, more option.
All right, more.
To enable. Share computer audio.
Wait. Okay. I have given speakers.
Do you find the option?
You mean in the more? In the more? Yeah, I got it. Yes.
Yeah.
You might like to review
Can you hear?
Okay now.
the
Right.
ideas of the
Play from the beginning.
environment.
Yeah, I'll play from the beginning. Right.
Swinburne University of Technology.
Hi, I'm Professor Gilly Salmon. I'm going to talk to you a bit more about the five-stage model. Just before you do your storyboard, you might like to review the ideas of the environment around the five-stage model, because it will help you to put things in the right place when you start storyboarding. Now, you probably know about Sherpas. Maybe some of you are even mountain climbers and know more than I do, but quite recently we've had an anniversary of Sherpa Tenzin, who was one of the first people to arrive at the summit of Everest. And I think when we're designing for learners going through the scaffold of their course, they often look right up and think, oh my goodness, look how far I've got to go. And if you look straight up, it looks a very long way. Whereas if we break it down into small stages, they're much more likely to be successful and engaged all the way through. But they do need a Sherpa. They need someone to walk along with them, to help them with understanding the environment, to make sure that they're successful in their learning achievements. So if we think about stage one, when they just arrive at the foothills of the mountain, they come in from different places, perhaps bringing baggage on different vehicles with different experiences, and somehow we need to bring them together into this very special online experience. We need to help them to feel comfortable in the environment. We need to make sure they've got some of the right equipment, and that's the role of the Sherpa at that stage. And then after that, they will move on to the very small foothills of the mountains. And at that stage, the Sherpas pointing out pathways, providing them with the wherewithal of working together. And they'll start to realise that they'll learn much more and much more quickly if they team up with others, maybe even rope them together at this stage to help them move up to the scaffold. And now the invitation is to look back and see how far they've already come before we move on to stage 3. And at stage 3, they'll actually realise they're very dependent on others. The Sherpa is actually providing information about the environment, information about the knowledge they need, perhaps a little bit of direction, pointing out the options and the pathways that they can move through. And that's what we need to build into our design at this point. Now, when you get to stage 4, the mountains get a little bit misty. Sometimes there's a climate or environment that might get in the way, and they will need more knowledge than they had before from the Sherpa to help them understand what they need in order to go towards the summit, to plan for the assessment that might be involved of actually reaching the summit, enable them to see that the ropes that they need might be a little bit different from what they thought. So they'll need lots of feedback, lots of help. Of course, once they move on to the summit, they're probably going to be working very much as a team, and they're probably going to need a lot of feedback to get there. But what a view when they get there, both of the journey they've been on and of the future. And that's something that we can use throughout the mountain climb to encourage them, to support them, to enable them. And that's the role of the Sherpa. So if you like that metaphor, think about that as you do your storyboard, and think about the kind of things that each of the 5 stages that will help your learners to succeed. And when you're walking alongside them, they'll actually benefit from the Sherpa's knowledge as well as from the actual environment that they're learning from. So good luck. Don't forget the Sherpa.
So that's an interesting video from Gilly about the eModeration. Right. So anyways, I will be sharing this slides with the coordinators. They'll be sending you. You can easily find the link. All right. So let's move on to the tools that are available. Let me once again go to the sharing of only the PowerPoint. All right. Sir, is there everything okay now? The audio?
Yeah, everything is clear, sir.
Right, sir.
Go
Fine.
ahead.
I'm going ahead. Now, first set of tools that I'm going to show you is the tools that are useful for classroom management, which means whatever you are doing in the class can be now done online. They are typically called as the learning management tools. Throughout this lecture, I'm not going to cover the well-known tools. Well-known tools are already well-known, or people are already using it. I'm going to show you some of the tools that are really, uh, you know, not much used, but then really having a lot of features, and it'll really surprise you. Okay, I've been going through some of these tools, and I have applied these tools in my classes, and I'm really, really surprised to see the engagement of the students, particularly even without the push, they are coming forward and taking it up. And some of them are easy to learn, right? Some of them are very easy in terms of the friendly user interfaces, and the learning curve is little sharper in the sense you don't have to spend too much of time in learning them. All right, so the well-known tool in the learning management system is the Moodle, right? Of course, we are also using Moodle. In fact, about 13, 14 years back, I started introducing this Moodle in the institutions, in various institutions, and then people started using it. Those days it was quite new, but now most of the institutions are familiar with this Moodle. The second one is Google Classroom. That's quite intuitive because of the Google's product, and also because of the simple user interface and the powerful platform it has. And then we have some of the, I'm sure the last few tools you might have never heard, or you might have little heard about that. Classkick, Otis, Nearpod, Schoology, Big Blue Button. The last one we are using now, after this pandemic, we started using the Big Blue Button in our university. I'll show you some of the features of each and every tool. Right, so the Google Classroom, I'm not going to talk about the Moodle because, as I said, the well-known tool, I'm not going to cover up much. So the Google Classroom, the advantages of this Google Classroom is that it's easy to learn interface. This is what is very important, because when I introduce a new teacher to the Moodle interface, it's not that friendly. Okay, you need to take some time to learn those interfaces and get used to it. So it'll take at least a couple of semesters for you to get familiar with all the features of a Moodle. The Moodle is so famous because of its open source and then the community for help. So there are a lot of community available for Moodle help. So you can easily find your administrators in your IT department can easily find the help for the Moodle package, and it's keep on getting updated. But the interface is really not that good in the Moodle. But then when you come to the Google Classroom, it's an amazing interface where you just, if you are good at any Google product, you can quickly learn it. It's a matter of just a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Also, it integrates with a lot of applications and websites, particularly all the Google apps. So if you want to make a collaborative learning, you can share a Google Doc, ask the students to participate in that. So it could be an Excel sheet, it could be a document file, or it could be any Google document that can be collaboratively used. So you can seamlessly share, collect, and grade. So the grading is also possible. So these are all called as G Suite documents. If your institution is already signed up for the G Suite, you'll be probably might be using it. On the negative side, the integration with some of the student information services are still in development. So there is no standards based grading options. Suppose if you go for grading, each university may have certain standards, particularly in the Western countries, and even our universities also, we have certain standards like the internal marks, the external marks, and all of them. So it's not a big deal, but it can be integrated. Most of our institutions might be having at least two software to manage the activities. One is the complete classroom management, the other one is the student services, like the student registration, student fee payment, and the students grading system, how many courses they have passed. All of them might be with some of the student registration systems. So the major challenge, even in my experience, I have seen is that integrating this learning management system with the service management system. So integrating them is a big challenge. Even Google is not addressing that. So as a bottom line, as a conclusion for the Google Classroom, it's a great way to manage and organize learning, though the teachers who need more features may need to look elsewhere. So if you need more features other than what is provided by the Google Classroom, then you need to go for the other platforms. All right. So the next one is Classkick. So this is a web-based app. Now, you can prefer the web-based app over operating system dependent app, something like, it works only with the Windows or it only works with the Mac. So don't look for any tool that is dependent on any operating system, because very simple reason that the students may not have access to that, right? So always prefer an app that is web-based. Your Moodle is web-based, your Google Classroom is web-based, Microsoft Teams is web-based. Anything that you say which is online, they are all web-based because of the platform independency. So this is a free web-based app, Classkick. This easily integrates with the Google Classroom. Look at this. This itself is a learning management system, but still it can also integrate with, suppose if you have already Google Classroom, this can easily be integrated. This has a much easier and intuitive interface. As you see on the left side, there is just one screenshot I have shared. So some of the advantages here is that it has the ability to interact with and adapt instructions to individual students in real time. Opens up many possibilities for use. So in real time, if you are able to track something like the student is online and you are online, you're able to interact with the students online on the learning materials, right? So that's quite interesting. The negative side, this will not work without a Wi-Fi connection. Of course, it's a web-based application, so you cannot consider this as a big negative point. The file uploads are limited to images and PDFs. This is, of course, a negative aspect. When you go to the common platforms like Moodle or Google Classroom, they allow you to upload most of the formats. They allow you to submit any formats that the teacher wants, right? So at the end, it's a great option for teachers who want to go paperless. Of course, we all want to go paperless now. Provide specific feedback, right? So individual attentions can be given, and encourage collaboration among students in one-to-one classroom. So how you collaborate between you and your students, so the collaboration is more possible. So this one I have just logged in myself yesterday as a teacher, and then I have just looked at various possibilities of how you can create an assignment. You can see the interface. Suppose if you have an experience of working in Moodle, you can easily compare the interface of assignment with the Classkick assignment here. So you can see this is a built-in assignment for someone who is coming to the platform for the first time. This has a standard set of assignments that makes people to work on it and then try to understand the platform. So it has various slides. So every time you go through slides, this will give you some kind of points, right? The progress of learning, it will add up some kind of points. That's what it means. And not only that, you can have your own slides. You can assign your own roster, and you can have your own assignments and other things. You can create your own classroom basically, right? So that's what all is about the Classkick. And then we have a next tool called Otis. This is also tool which is supposed supports the major things like the LMS, assessment, and then data management. So these three are the major part which is supposed to be needed in the classroom management. So what is needed basically for the teaching, and then basically you need to assess them based on what you have taught. Third one is what you have assessed, that report, like the grading or the feedback or whatever it is. So that is available to the students as well as to the teachers. And this goes further one more level where it shows the patterns can be identified in the students' growth. That's what's very important. I'll show you in the website, and then I'll come back to this slide. Let me check once again. Right, so let me share the screen. Right, so now you can see here, this is the homepage of Otis. I must be having a login here. Okay, I have still not created an account, but then what was interesting to me was the three major things. Let me show you. They had some demo. Yes, here you can see here it has the learning management, assessment management, and data management. Okay, so you can create an assessment, you can measure the performance of the students, and then the measurement is very interesting here. Look at the screen. There is a grade book. This grade book shows list of students and how their qualitative performance is, right? So that's what is important. Qualitatively, we'll be able to assess them in the class, but how do you assess them qualitatively? Right, suppose if you have an online exam and conduct them, the marks are graded, you have a quantitative, but then how do you know this guy is really learning well, and this is top performer, average performer, below performance, right? So that's what is given in different colors. You can see here mastery, near mastery, approaching mastery, not a mastery, that's kind of poor students, right? So that's the intuitive point that I have noted in this tool. And also you can see the analytics that it just pulls up from your courses and assignments. You can see here, this is the grade book. And also this is a screen for hosting a kind of online quiz with multiple choice questions. So that's what is very interesting. And moreover, this works for most of the devices, and you have more solutions based on your requirement. Okay, suppose if you have personalized learning experience, you want to have a product related to the personalized learning, remote learning, communication, collaboration, and culture tools. So everything can be taken from here. Okay, so you have all the products connected together: learning management, assessment management, and the data management. All right, let me go back. All right, so the pros: extensive features, as I told you, options for the classroom management rival those of many pages. This is particularly free, so you must have a look at it. You should just give a try if you have still not tried anything in your institution, or if you are at the experimental phase. Extensive features, they are really good. And then cons on the other side, negative side, probably it might be worrisome because you need to enter a lot of data to get those statistics. Of course, you need to feed in a lot of data to get those high level, the analytics. And also it takes some kind of a high learning curve for the intermediate teachers, right? So it's not that good for the people who would like to learn something new. They are not from the computer science background, or they are not good at computers, so it might take a while for them to learn. So the bottom line here is that the teacher created site solves more problems than it causes. So it will take some upfront professional development to take the full advantage. Okay, but the tool is really good. All right, then the next one is the Nearpod. It's an instructional platform that merges the formative assessment and dynamic media, right? So you can see the way it merges two different stuff. Dynamic media in terms of the interactive video or animation stuff for collaborative learning experiences. Another beauty is that this can integrate with the existing Google Classroom, and most importantly, it supports the 3D and the virtual reality. So you can host anything. For example, you are in a mechanical engineering department, you are in a department where you have very say for example the biological or whatever it is, very complex equipment to understand. you can take a very good photography of that. So so much of so many equipments, or put them together and then host it in the site where the virtual reality apps will come up. They can use a Google Cardboard or any VR headsets to go through such complex machines to understand. So that's an interesting stuff from this particular tool. So the pros here is that the students actively participate in their education, while teachers get valuable feedback on student learning. So this is also part of the assessment, right? The student has to give a feedback to the student learning. On the negative side, creating and modifying presentations can be time consuming and can get expensive. Some of the features may not work on all devices. So this is an issue because the students might be using different devices. You may be posting it from a desktop PC. The students may be using it from the mobile devices or the tablets. So that might create some kind of conflicts. The bottom line here is that it's an effective tool that leverages the capabilities for one-to-one environment and offers both the teachers and student-based self-learning. Okay, so that's the near part. I also have a link here to take you through some of the features of the Nearpod. Right, so you can see here, if you are a student, you can enter here. Teachers, you can sign up here. And most of these tools, what I'm showing, they probably might have your university list or the institution list with them, right? So yesterday I was searching for, I'll show you a screenshot where one of the assessment tools already had the list in which Bharathiyar University is there already. Okay, I have just taken a screenshot of it. I'll show you. So most of them have taken it. So most of them, they give access to your institutions at a free of cost. Sometimes they give 30 days free access, and after that, depending on your requirement, they either charge or they just leave it. After that, they'll not remove it, but still they'll keep it on. So something like that. Some of them have relaxed during the pandemic time. Okay, so you can see the the features here, right? So you can synchronize the learning during the live instruction. So all these tools are supporting the offline teaching, in the sense you can record, upload your materials, and then the people can see it on the other side. Some of the tools support the live instructions, in the sense you can connect the tool and start teaching. So either you can have only live session, or you can have live and recorded session. So it's possible to record and just store it so that later on people can see that. So this tool also supports that. And then another tool called Schoology. This tool is a top tier LMS for digital classroom. This is having options for assigning and assessing work as well. So it can be a little overwhelming to first time users. So it's not familiar with this. Some people who are not familiar with this will be finding it difficult. Nowadays, you will find most of the tools are coming out with a very simple interface, or trying to come out with a totally out of the box thinking interface, where sometimes it may be difficult, sometimes it will be easy for you to quickly understand, right? So the bottom line here for this tool is that it makes the most of the Schoology. You need to ramp up some time and great tasks and assessments. It can also offer a rich learning and collaboration. So this can make your students to collaborate each other. You also can be part of it. You can have this classroom environment. So this is an example from the screenshot. You can see here, this is having instructional tools, communication and collaboration, mobile app. So the device independence is always there. And you also have the analytics or the reports, and then interoperability. So if you have multiple platforms, you'll be able to host this from any one. And then finally, the assessment management. So you'll be able to conduct online examinations. Right, so another screenshot where I just logged in and created a section. You can see here. Let me go to the website, Schoology. Okay, this is not a Chrome. And in Chrome, I just already logged in. Let me see if I have. Right. So, Schoology. Right. So let me log in. I have already signed up, so you can see I have already registered here. Now I also have created a course. You can see the course dashboard. I just have created a course. There's of course a typo here. Instead of course sample course, I just have missed a O. But you can see here, this is the sample course that I have created. And for a course, if you are already familiar with any LMS packages, any tools, these are quite the same. The only thing is the interface is much easier to understand quickly. And on the top, you can see this looks much of a social media interface. So you can see you can add a folder assignment, you can conduct a quiz, you can add another assessment, right? You can link to another file or external tool. Okay, you can also create discussions like the forums. You can create a web page or a similar page here. If you want to create a kind of media album like an image gallery or a video gallery, you can do that. And additional packages, you can add some additional APIs that could support your learning. Right, so that's a very simple interface. This is no way different from your Moodle or the Google Classroom. You can very well use this. And this is one of the tools recommended by, I think, UNESCO also. So Schoology is one of the well-known tools. And you can see your calendars. Right, so suppose if you have any activities scheduled for a calendar, that will be displayed here. Right, so that's an interesting tool. So moving on, the last tool that I'm going to talk about is the big blue button. This is open source. Okay, so this is an open source web conferencing system for the online learning. So how this works is that you have to integrate this with an existing LMS packages like Moodle, where this works just like a small additional API or a package. So this is how we work. So what we do is with this BBB tool, we open the tool. I can quickly show you how it works. All right. Let me go from Google itself. Right. So this is our university's LMS page. I'm just logging into LMS, and you can see this is one of the courses that I'm handling. And you can see we have for remote teaching, this BBB has been integrated. So suppose I start a session, this is purely integrated into Moodle. Okay, so I can host it with my microphone, or I can get into only my listen mode. The students can come into any of them, but then the teacher has to go with the microphone because you will be talking to the students live, right? So let me go only with the listen mode.
The only person in this conference.
Right. Excuse me. So this is the interface where you can see this screen. I can add my PowerPoint slides or any document that I want to share with the students. I can do that. And I can see all my list of students on the left side here. All of them will be available. And if I want to send a message, I can send a public message here, right? And if I want to send a message to any of the students privately, also I can do that. And this is a live session. So you'll be also able to show your webcam, and you'll also be able to share your screen. And then you can either record or you can just keep it as live. Okay. So if you want all your students to be online at the time you present, just keep only with only the online session, live session, don't record it. If you want your students to listen to the recording at a later stage, keep recording and it will be stored in your server. Later you can share it with your students. All right. So anything that I want to share here, for example, I want to type a text here for the students, right? So I say announcement. This goes live. So I can type anything, or I can just click on this one to upload any presentation, right? So I can make a presentation available inside this. This works perfectly all right. We have been working on it since the pandemic started, and all the students also are quite happy with this tool because it has the option of recording, right? So whenever we go online, we record the session and then make it available to the students. That's what you see here. All those. I have just completed the meeting. You can see all these are the recorded sessions from during the live sessions. We just make a recording and then it's available for all the students as well, right? So that's about the big blue button. So the features are listed here. As I told you, this is integrated into LMS. You have the online and offline recording features. You can have the live sessions, and moreover, it is all open source. Okay, so you can contact them if you want to keep it as part of your Moodle. You can always write to these guys, and they will be able to let you know about the process. Okay, right, where is it? Oops, I just escaped. Right, that's a minute. Just a minute. Okay, so that's about the classroom management tools. We'll move on to the next set of tools which are useful for the content creation. Okay, so assume that these tools, which are the LMS, are already available in your institution, right? Or your IT guys are taking care of it. You don't have to worry about it. As a teacher, you have to worry about how to create these contents and make available to your students. So the creation tools, or the content creation tools, they are basically used to create video or interactive contents. It could be as simple as slides and as interactive as an animated presentation, right? So you can simply upload the PowerPoint slides, or you can go with an animated story and you can tell your whole story, and then you can create it. So all the tools are there to support all of them. This is effective when the teachers are creative in presenting the contents in a totally interesting method. So particularly what I told you, the interactive method. So you need to be a little creative. Then it will take some time to learn these tools. So most of the tools need some kind of learning time because it's not that easy. I'm talking about the tools other than the Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, it is worth giving an attempt to learn this because the world is moving now towards the online mode. Okay, so invest your time, learn these tools, get familiar with some of these tools on how to make these online contents. And then this is particularly good for the student engagement and show that you are a unique teacher, right? So you need to put some efforts. Of course, we all put efforts, but then this is totally a different mode, different media. So we need to ensure that our students always like our classes, whether it is offline or online, right? So that's why we need to learn these tools. The first one, which is actually called as the content creation tool called EduCreations. Okay, so EduCreations. Again, I have researched to find the tools that are not well known. So you can see here. So these tools, this tool particularly, this is used to create voice. Okay, you can record your voice on the screen, particularly the iPad screen. So this is actually dependent on platform to create dynamic video tutorials that the students and colleagues can access anytime as needed. So the advantage here is that you get just enough options to make creating presentations fun and effective, because the way you see on the screen, just put a narration and just keep working on your screen. Probably you want to write something on the screen, right? The iPad, you can use it and you can make a sketch, right? You can use your finger to, you don't have to go with the stylus pens and all, but still you can write. For example, the mathematics teachers, I have seen many of the mathematics teachers, physics teachers, they are really complaining about this online mode because they do not know how to write these stuffs on the screen, right? because they write a lot of lengthy equations and many things, or the diagrams that they need to explain while drawing. So this tool will help you to do that. Okay, so the negative side is that this is a one-take creation app. That means that you can save a draft presentation and there's some editing capability, but be ready to get your narration right on the first try. So this is something like, once it goes wrong, you cannot cut it and then do the editing. This is in a way it's good. Once you start using it, you will know how to make your presentations, right? Just like in the classroom. In the classroom, we don't say, no, this is wrong, I'll again start from the beginning, right? We don't do that. So we know that, once we start our presentation, we'll have our own flow. The teachers have their own flow. They just make a presentation, just keep making a presentation, keep talking to the app. This will capture everything in a good way, and then make your presentations very dynamic. At the bottom line, and it is an easy functional way to create presentations on the fly. So the next one is, I'm sure some of you might be already familiar with this tool, Screencast-Matic. If you're not, this is a very wonderful tool that I have used many times to capture my screens and then upload it, for the students. Right. So this is to share your entire screen. Whatever you do, including your web camera, audio, everything, what you do on your screen will be captured by this tool, and it will be uploaded as a video. So the advantage is that once it becomes a video, you'll be able to edit that. So for that, again, you need to know about some of the editing tools. Some of the fundamental tools like the Windows Movie Maker, they are good enough to make the fundamental editing. So the advantages here is that the intuitive design makes for a fun user experience, and the paid versions are cost effective and include a full suite of editing tools. So the basic versions will not have much of editing options. I think they also have some kind of limitations on the time. Okay, if you pay, that's not expensive. You can still pay it and use it. It also comes with the editing tools. So it takes some time to build a content library, a gallery of standards-based or high-quality screencasts that will be helpful for the time-starved teacher. So you can create some kind of gallery that takes some time to build your own repository. At the bottom line, this is a well-designed screen and video recorder that lets teachers and students focus on creating engaging content from the get-go. So what is important is that when you start presenting your class or the instructions about your content, you just forget about what's happening in the system, right? So you keep going on. This tool will record everything. So what you do is ensure that you are connected. You have the basic equipments to capture. Just go on recording it, and then finally, in case if you have done some mistakes in between, you still have the options to edit it. Right. The next tool is Adobe Spark. Many of us might be knowing about the Adobe products like the Photoshop, the Adobe Premiere. There are a lot of tools by Adobe which are very expensive in terms of the license, but this tool is free. Yes, so this Adobe tool is free. There are a few tools from Adobe which are still free. One of them is this Adobe Spark. So this is a very flexible tool, particularly for crafting fab images or videos and sites. Okay, so you can see some of the screenshots here. It's super easy to register your ID with the Spark, and you can create. For example, what I have shown you here is a screenshot of an interactive content which I was trying to record. You can see you can upload a video, text, photo, and you can also keep your mic on, which means that you have some content, hold the mic and then speak about the content. That will record. Okay, so you have a lot of templates which will help you to make your content preparation easier. You don't have to build everything from the scratch. So it's all available already, right? So if your motivation is to prepare the contents in a dynamic way, in a very rich interface, go with the Adobe Spark. Um, the next one, probably I can just take you for a couple of minutes into the Adobe Spark. So this is the website. Again, this is a web-based app. So most of the Adobe products, they will ask you to download and use it, but this is a web-based one. So that's another advantage of using this. Okay, you can see here, this is my page where I registered. All right. So you can tell your story about anything. For example, I want to make a presentation, or I want to make a slideshow, or I want to create a brand, or if you want to have a custom size, you can do it. For example, you are going to create a post, for example, here, small collage about some event that you would like to present quickly. So you can create it and then talk. For example, I just go with the presentation itself, because most of us will be interested in preparing a presentation, right? So I create it here. So this is a demo for the FDP, right? So I want to add a photo, right? So let me take some pictures from Adobe stock. So let me take pictures of Fiji. It's still searching. Yep, I got something, right? So let me choose the first one. You can see the background has been filled up with an image. Okay, right? So this is a beautiful beach. I don't know where is this in Fiji, but this is how the beaches in Fiji looks like. All right, so what I want to add, for example, I want to add another video. I can click on this. I want to keep a button to create an interactive sessions, right? So if you add the button, people will be able to interact with your story. So I say next button. Okay, so save. So how you want the button to be aligned. Okay, let me go to google.com. If I click on the button, right? So I have a button here. Right. So if what else you want to add? You want to add a video, you can add it. You want to add another text, you want to add another photo, just keep adding it, and that will be presented like this, right? So I scroll down, I get the next. If I click, it will go to google.com. All right, so it goes to google.com. So you can make a presentation online and you can share it. So you can see that share, you can publish and share the link. So this will be available as a portal itself, like a website itself, so that your students can access from anywhere. You don't need a kind of LMS to share these links. If you know them, I mean, if you know their email IDs or anything, you can just share this link. It's super easy to create quickly your contents and then share it. For example, I'm creating an assignment. I want to talk about the assignment, right? So I can add the assignment. Okay, right. It's say, let me say here. I saw a microphone. I don't know why it's not appearing here. All right, so it's supposed to come. I think probably it will come in another, not the presentation. It's about the video or any interactive contents. You'll be able to see that microphone. So click on the microphone and just talk. Okay, you can create this and just talk. That will be added, right? So that's super easy to create your contents using the Adobe Spark. Okay. The next tool is again for the content creation. It's called Genially or Genially. So this has a single platform for all kinds of your interactive content. So you can show off your ideas and turn them into unforgettable stories. So you can bring your content to life. So this actually allows the, it just pulls the audience attention and turns into an interactive content. So the important thing is the retention, right? So if you present anything with an interactive content, the students will be able to understand quickly and they'll be able to have the retention for a longer duration. They will not be able to forget. It's not a text, right? So you're going to combine many things. So the engagement here is that when you go for the interactive contents, your the students will get engaged to your classes, and they will not be trying to escape from the classes. And also memorable, because of the interactive content, people will be able to memorize easily or just remember easily if you're able to present in a way that people can easily recognize. And also the fun is that you have the gamification, which means that you can make the learning happen through the games that will increase their motivation to learn. So also obviously it will improve, the current generation, they're all game generations, right? So the people are living their life as part of the life in the game. So they want all the interactions or the interfaces to be looking like a game, right? So if you make your learning also like a game, this tool is one of them, which can allow you to create a kind of a gamification. Right, so these are all the features that you can see in the Gilly. So you can have the presentation as simple as that, and you can have a dossier. You can have a better learning experience because of the interactive contents. As I said, the gamification. You can have an interactive image, right? You can have, for example, like a puzzle. You can make them to choose which part of the image is this. They have to give a name for that, or they have to select, click, right? That's actually the interactive image. And you can create the infographics. The infographics is the way to present your data in a way that people clearly understand what is the essence of the data, or the whole story, right? Not only the data, it's about the storytelling in a way that the graphics can be used. Then you have both vertical as well as the horizontal infographics. You can have the guide video presentation, and then you can even create a personal branding about yourself. If you want to create your own profile, you can have a personal branding. And also it's social, so whatever you do it here can be socially shared. For example, if there is an achievement, if you have created something, you want to share it with your social media, you can do that. Right now, as we completed the content creation, let me tell you the challenges in the content creation. Right, the first one is the audio problem. Okay, so when I start recording, right from the day one, whenever I go online, I always end up in the microphone issues. It happens only with my Windows system. I also work in Linux. I also work in Apple Mac OS. So it happens only in Windows platform where the microphone doesn't get recognized. Even now, you can see I'm using actually this headphone is capable of wireless. If I put the wireless, there is some kind of noise which is catching up. It creates a disturbance. So I have used it quite a lot of time with the Bluetooth, but the students complain that, sir, we are hearing some kind of static inference. So when I use the wired mic, then no worries, it works perfectly fine. But then for every time I have to do some kind of troubleshooting, so this is always a problem. Okay, I'm sure most of you might be facing such issues. Okay, and then the video camera problems, particularly the position and quality of camera. Right, so what I'm doing for this presentation is that I'm not using my default webcam. Okay, I also did quite some research when I started my online teaching. I I was not comfortable in using my webcam. Number one is the quality is very poor. And then I have to keep my laptop in a particular angle to show my face visible to my audience. Then I found what else is the best way. They said you can use clippable USB based webcam. I bought one, but the quality is still poorer than my built-in webcam. And then I still found that there are a lot of apps available in mobile phone where you can use your front camera of your mobile phone or even the back camera of your mobile phone as a webcam. Right now, I'm using my mobile phone camera as the webcam here for this session. Okay. So at the beginning of the session, actually, Dr. Krishna sir asked me, sir, how come your camera is looking so good? So that's the reason I'm using an app. The name of the app is called a Droid Cam. Okay, DROID, Droid, Android, Droid Cam, CAM, Cam. So if you look for the app, you can easily install it in your mobile phone, and you also can install in your Windows. It can easily integrate your mobile phone into your Windows. Right, so then the editing problems. Once you record your video and audio, the next problem is the editing, okay? Right, so when I started working on this online classes, what happens was that I record a lengthy session, okay? So I use BBB and other modes of communication to my students because, you know, I upload my weekly lectures for every course into my this one Moodle, so that the students will be able to stream and listen to the lectures. So when I stream, I had the option of using Zoom, but then a lot of complaints were there about the Zoom at the beginning, so I did not want to give a chance, right? So then I started looking for other options like the BBB. The BBB was good when I have a very good internet connection. So at home, I don't get good, you know, the signal. So at times I know the internet connection goes off, and I keep talking, but then people don't listen because of the loss of internet connectivity. So instead, I go offline. I record using some of the tools, right? So I use you know, the Zoom, or I use even Microsoft PowerPoint. When I record, it just keeps on going, and then finally I had to edit them, some of them, right? What happens was that sometimes my son just runs away, runs across, and then he comes and asks me, Dad, just you know, I have this doubt. What can I do? I mean, I had to pass, or I had to look at him and then answer. By the time it also gets recorded, right? So I had to clip off that. So these challenges are there in terms of the editing. You know, nowadays, editing your videos in mobile phones are much easier than editing in your laptops or the desktops. Believe it or not, almost all your leading apps like the Adobe, the Apple, or anything you take, they all have their lighter versions which are downloadable and usable in your mobile phone itself. Most of your mobile phones do have the default video editing apps, so you can do the editing in the mobile itself, right? That's not a big deal. The next challenge is that the content limitation in target sites. Okay, it's all set by your site administrator, your network administrators, because of the limitation in your server storage. They cannot simply allow all people to upload gigabytes of data, right? So what they do is that they limit the file size. For example, in our university, we have 60 MB upload limit. If I record a lecture of say 3 hours, or say 2 hours, or even 1 hour, it easily crosses 400 to 500 MB. I'm talking about the raw footage. When I edit and compress them, I use some of the compression tools as well. I'll tell you some of the compression tools that you can use. The compression tools, they help in reducing your size, but not to 60 MB. So ultimately what I had to do is I had to clip off my video into several parts, and then upload like part 1, part 2, part 3, like the movies, right? So I had to say week 8, lecture 1, part 1, week 8, lecture 1, part 2, like that. I have to upload different parts of my videos into the Moodle, right? So that's a limitation, right? So you have to face that. You should know how to solve it, actually. And then the presentation issues with the students. What happens is that I upload a particular video format, right? See, when I compressed, I have a lot of codecs like the MP4. In MP4 itself, there are different standards. When I compress and then upload, sometimes the videos will not be played in the Moodle window, but it will be played when you download and play using other players like VLC, which has almost all the codecs. So this happens with the presentation issues, the way the videos or the outputs are presented. For example, if you create an Adobe content which can be played only in the Shockwave player, the end user must have a Shockwave player in their website. I mean, the browsers. Otherwise, it will not play. This is an issue. So also, I mean, finally, last but not the least, the copyright violations. You should be very careful because the contents are going online. Okay, so unless it is your own content, do not ever claim that everything is yours, right? Always give a reference, always give a HTTP link from where these sources are taken from, where these links can be found. Be transparent with your students, because they are, again, smarter than us. They can easily find, from where these materials are available. Okay, so about the copyright, be careful in using the video, audio, or images. So be careful about that, because it's not going to affect it's not only going to affect you, it's also going to affect your institution. So institution's brand is also very important. So be careful about that. Right. So going on, we still have about 15 to 20 minutes, if I'm right, Sir Krishnadar sir.
1.5 hours, sir.
So now it's 1.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
So I'll try to wind up in another 15 minutes. Is it okay? And
That's
then
fine.
the last
After
15
that,
minutes, we'll have discussions.
yeah, few of the participants have raised their questions.
All right. Okay. So I'm curious to have the questions. Right. So I think this is the last topic. Assessment.
Actually, you were
Yeah.
told that you are using the mobile camera, right? For that you told me some of the Droid. Huh? What is that?
Yeah. I'll type it here.
Yeah.
I'll type it here. No worries. So you're able to see that Droid Cam,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So Droid Cam is the name of the app. You can easily find it in Android. And the client version is available for Windows. You can also download that for Windows so that it can sync them. All right, so let me go ahead with the assessment tools. One of them is called Piazza. So this has a wiki style format that enables collaboration in a single space. It features the latex editor. Also, you can say, suppose if you're good at coding and you want your students to be assessed at the coding, so it has a code block where the students can enter the coding. It can have questions and posts needing immediate actions are highlighted. So the instructors endorse answers to keep the class on track. This is customizable. You can have online polls. This is also integrated with the LMS. Right. So this is what I said yesterday. I just browsed through this tool. I found that you can enroll with different by mentioning your school name. That means the university name. So in the available names, I just searched for the Bharathiar University. I got it. So only thing is, before you sign up, you give your course name and you have to give your official email ID. Okay. So once you give your official email ID, it will give you an access to this tool. You can create the assessments from here. So another one is called the peer grade. I used this in my class, one of my classes. Okay. So this is for peer-to-peer evaluation. This is quite interesting because, when you go for the assessment, particularly online, the teachers have a lot of load. When you have an assignment which is submitted by the students, you need to go and submit your reports, feedback. It's a painful job. So this tool actually reduces the teachers' time on grading by, making the students to evaluate themselves. Of course, we would have done it we would have already done it in our classes, but not at a major scale. right? We ask them to write something and then we distribute the papers across and then we ask them to evaluate. But this one does professionally online. Okay, so I was little skeptical about how it's going to work out with my students. Particularly, this was given to my master students. Most of them are working students. So what they did, you won't believe, it's an amazing result that the critics were so high. You can see, yeah, I'll just quickly go through the tool yeah, here I have already opened it just to reduce time. You can see this is the grade. I did not evaluate it. What I did is I just created an assignment and set the rubrics. Okay, the rubrics I said how you evaluate your assignment. That's it. And then I set it in a way that each student has to submit one assignment and they have to review 2 assignments. So each student will submit. Once all of them submit, then the review portions will start. So when they reviewed, they actually give all the qualitative comments. Okay, so you can see the results here. This is how they have given the grade. You won't believe none of them got more than 80%. So we need to believe that, right? So when I give anything like this, the students come and argue with me. No, no, sir, I was expecting more than this. You have reduced my grade. But then look at this. They have graded, not 1, 2 people grade for everyone. That is anonymous. Okay, they will not know to whom they are grading it. And then what happens is that the results, you can see the qualitative result. This on the right side, you can see this is about each students on the left side. On the right side, you can see the comment for each one. Okay, they have given a very critical comment. I mean, each one reviewed very carefully. Some of us may not review very carefully, right? So we, because of the lack of time, we just quickly go into some points and then look at, and then if it is available, we grade them. No, these people have taken a lot of pain. We should appreciate these kind of efforts by the students, really. But then these assessments are not for your final grading, but this is for your, I mean, engaging the students and then bringing them online, make them interactive, right? And then you have backpacks. This is again helping to conduct the assessments. It has instant feedback, grading. Okay, so sometimes you can have auto grading if you don't have the multiple choices sometimes. This also can be integrated with the Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. Okay, Microsoft Teams is one of the tools. I'm going to talk about it a little later. Actually, there is a video integrated with this. I don't have time to play. Probably you can have a look at it later. That's about the features of the tool. Another one is Fresh Grade. This is a fresh way to capture, document, and share the student learning. Here we have digital lessons, activities, posts, assess their growth, and then connect with the students and parents. Okay, most of the tools also have the features to connect to the parents. When I was in India, Dr. Krishna sir might know that we used to convey every exam results to the parents. Okay, if this tool is being used, we don't have to call them all the way to the institution, make the teachers to, make them to wait for the whole day, or wait for the teachers to come and meet them to know about their wards progress. This tool will help them also to monitor how the students are performing, how they're interacting with the teachers. Right. So then we have Spiral. They have a version called Quickfire. This is also for all students. Even some of the reluctant speakers will be able to come out and speak. Okay, so this is really engaging, easy to use tool that supports both formative and summative assessments, while also allowing the students to collaborate each other. Then we have Socrative. This is one of the well-known tool. Among the tools, this is one of the well-known. This actually does again formative and summative, which merges in snapshot polls and quizzes. So you can have polls and quizzes, and the kids will like the instant feedback, right? So whenever they get the feedback about their assessment, immediately they like it. It's easy for the teachers to see where the students are missing a particular concept and then adjust instructions accordingly. And then particularly this is free for students. I think this is also useful for the teachers. I enrolled as a teacher. I was able to see right? So I was able to see the quick, quiz and then space race, like rapid fire, multiple choice, true, false, short answer. Can create, quizzes. This is a screenshot for conducting the quizzes. Another interesting stuff is that they have a lot of built-in quizzes, right? Suppose if your topic is very general, you're teaching the basic science or the basic math, they have a lot of built-in quizzes. So you can easily find them. You can, share easily, quick. I mean, you don't have to spend time in creating such quizzes. And another tool is called Quizzes. This is also for online assessment. This is again free. It can be integrated with the Google Classroom. This balances like a meme fueled fun, right? The students now are familiar with the memes, right? So the same way, that kind of fun is embedded. This prepares a comprehensive reports and make the assessment easy. As you see, this is also integrated with the existing tools of the LMS. And this is too easy for the students to mistakenly tap the wrong answer, because the touch screens, right? So they will be able to touch and then select their answers. Sometimes they may select wrong answers, then they will claim that you know about the students, right? They will always say, no sir, I didn't mean to click that. Instead of clicking this, I clicked here, or it's accidentally clicked. So it's not my mistake. So there's a chance. Okay, so moving on to the next one, which is a live communication tool. The most known now in this time is Zoom. People are using Zoom. It's a very good tool, right? No, there's no doubt about that. In addition to that, we also have Hangout Meet. Initially, it was there were some restrictions in Google Hangout Meet, like 20, or if you have a G Suite license, you will be able to use it. But now it's available. I think it's for about 100 participants. It's free. And then we have the Microsoft Teams. If your institution has an account with Microsoft Office 365, you can use Microsoft Teams. This is a very wonderful tool to create teams for each of your classes, make them to collaborate, work on all the Microsoft related products. Okay, you can create a Word document, or you can create a PowerPoint, you can create an Excel sheet, make it collaborated, so everyone can come and edit it. You can easily track who has edited what. I mean, this is a massive platform. I think this has been underrated, and people started using it, started realizing it. So this is a very good collaborative tool. And also you can conduct live meetings. I looked for other opportunities, other alternatives. I found two of them. One is the WeChat Work. WeChat is an app. So they have something called WeChat Work. This works for up to 300 participants free. More than that, I think you need to take a license. And then another one called Lark. I found this is a very beautiful interface. It has the chat, calendar, and conferencing window, which can allow up to 100 participants free. I think more than that, you need to take the license, or you need to sign up as an institution, right? This is what I have seen. Right. So moving to the last part of the session, I have given all nooks and corners. I just found out some interesting tools and picked up, but then we should not forget the basics. Right? We are all familiar with Microsoft PowerPoint, no doubt about it. Microsoft PowerPoint can do a lot of wonder for your content creation. So you may not know that. Just wanted to tell you, because I've been using it of late. This has given me a lot of support as a cushion to record my contents when I missed my audio, or when I missed my some of the internet connectivity and things like that. But the slides, Microsoft PowerPoint gave me a very good backup. First thing is that Microsoft PowerPoint can capture the audio or video along with the slides. You may not know that. If you want to know that, just go to slideshow. You can see on top of that record slideshow. You can say record from beginning or current. It will record your webcam, your microphone. If you don't want the webcam, you can just cross it. And then you can say, for example, I say, this is a recording session I want to have. You can see here my webcam and then microphone at the bottom. So I can record my sessions. So it's possible to record your slides. The interesting thing is that when you record, For each slide, whatever you speak, only that will be recorded. Okay. The result will be still available as a PowerPoint. The students will be able to see your PowerPoint. When they open the PowerPoint, your audio or video will also be played along with that. So it will be interesting to open the PowerPoint slide and see their teacher speaking just below the slide. So it will be very good, right? So you don't have to install anything. You have to just share your slides. It will be embedded in your slides, and you can make your students to learn along with you, right? So that's another interesting thing. And it can convert any recorded slides into a video file. If you don't want any interactive things, you want all the students to listen to all the slides in the sequence, make it as a video. Okay. So once it is available, you can save as a video. You can see here, there's an option called MP4. Save the slides as MP4. If you have all the recordings, it will go in a sequence one by one, right, as you have recorded. And then instantly, if you want, you can create a content. So how you can record the content is that there's a tab called recording. You can see video, audio, screen recording, anything that you can record and put that as a slide. Okay, that will be available as a slide, and then it will be easily available. Even you can publish to stream. And then learning is super fast. You don't have to worry. Just a few clicks and start working on your microphone and webcams. You're done. No worries about the conversion or playback issues. You're done already. Students can learn at their own pace and slide with the audio, video embedded. And then these two tools I had to mention here because they are really powerful, and they have given me a lot of helping hands. One is the Audacity, which can make you to record your voice, only voice. This is a very beautiful audio editing software. Mixer, suppose if you want to make a music also, you can make it. It records a very good quality CD recording from your microphone, and you can edit it. It will create a clip, and you can edit the waveforms. And then finally the VLC. The VLC is well known as a player, right? So we play any video format. But then it also has a lot of other features which helps you to create your contents. You can convert from one format to another format using the VLC player. You can clip off. If you have a lengthy video, you can easily clip off this videos using the VLC, and also you can compress them. Okay, there is an option called convert or save. It'll convert into which format you want, and also you can choose your video resolutions, and you can reduce the size of your video so that you can easily publish in any sites. For example, if you have restrictions of like 50 MB or 60 MB, still you can publish it. So these two tools, don't forget, particularly VLC had given me a lot of helping hand. All right, I think I have come to the end. This is my personal recommendation. So keep a baseline LMS tool part of your institution. Use a content creation tool that does not consume time and resources. Learning or training that may not take much time. Use one or more assessment tools to engage the students. If it is part of your LMS like Moodle, forget about it, no worries. Or if you want to keep something additional, just try to keep engaging the students with various tools and techniques is the key. So try to explore. You can integrate all of them into your existing Moodle. You don't have to install them, right? So you can use them to engage your students. And then assessment needs to be completely different from face-to-face. So the assessment is a big challenge, as I told you. So it's not a face-to-face. Don't give any questions like define, explain, all those things. So you need to create the questions in a way that people really think and write the answers. And then always depend on the time-limited open book test, because you do not know from where the students are writing your exams. So you always keep the time limits, right? Some of the tools which I know, but I've still not explored much because it's all licensed a little bit. One is Perusal, which is an online tool which automatically grades the students based on their interactions. Number two is the proctoring. Proctoring is, you can search in the Google. Proctoring is to control the online exam fraud. You know what? When the students start online examinations, they can ask anyone else to take the examination on behalf of them, right? Most of the certification exams use this tool called proctoring. They are AI-based tools, video or audio-based. Sometimes they apply the geofence, like GPS, the location restrictions. So they have to sit there, they have to open the video camera, they have to show that there is no one around, and this guy is not looking like this, taking eyes away from the computer. Many things are being tracked. So those tools are also important, but I'm sure these will be implemented over a period of time. But for the time being, to start with, whatever I recommended should be good enough. I think now I can go ahead with interactions for the next 15 minutes. So any questions you are open to ask?
The participants are requested to raise their hand so that I can unmute you to ask question from the resource person.
Hello.
Yes, madam, you can speak.
Yeah, hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam.
This is Dr. Radhika, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, a very powerful explanation and exhaustive explanation of all the tools, sir. Very interesting, because which we don't know all the tools at all. We know only one or two.
Okay.
So just we want a PowerPoint presentation of this to us. Please do this, sir. That is my request. And
yeah, come again, madam. What is that? You want one more presentation? What?
no, sir. This is the copy of this PPT should be please.
Yeah. I'm going to share with the coordinators.
Yeah.
They'll be able to send it to you.
Another one which I would like to ask you, sir, regarding that PPT presentation can be done along with audio. No, sir. That's what you told.
Exactly. Yes.
That can be. Please once explain that point, sir. I could not get that.
All right. Once, let me quickly give you a demonstration. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. See, for example, I have this slide open. Now
Yes,
I
sir.
go to slideshow on the top of my screen. You
Yes,
can
sir.
see record slideshow,
Okay.
record current slide. Okay. I'm just
Okay.
recording only the current slide. Just
Okay.
see here on the right
Okay.
side, you can see settings, which
Okay.
microphone it has to capture.
Okay.
I told you I'm using the Droid Cam. So I'm using
Okay.
the microphone. At the bottom, you can see my microphone is still on.
Okay.
If I want to keep my camera on, I can keep my camera on, which will be
Okay.
visible, right?
If I keep camera on, we will be visible on the screen, sir.
Exactly. You will be visible on the
Okay.
screen. So you be careful about that, okay? So if you don't want,
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, your slides will capture your video and audio. So the size of your file will
Yeah.
go up. So be careful about it.
Yes, that's
Okay?
what.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If you don't want video, just leave it. It will only record audio. It will only slightly
Oh,
increase the size. Audio takes only
okay.
little lesser than the video. See, for example,
Okay.
now I click on the record on the top left. You see
Yes.
record.
Yes, sir.
It gives me
Yes.
time. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm recording my PowerPoint slide. Okay,
Okay.
this is getting recorded only for this slide. Okay, not for the remaining slides. So
Okay, sir.
when the students open this slide, they will be able to hear my voice. Look at it. Now
Okay.
I'm stopping it.
Hmm.
I'm playing it again. Now
Okay.
I'm recording my PowerPoint slide. Okay, this is
Oh.
getting recorded only for this slide. Okay, not for the remaining slides.
Okay.
So
Okay, sir. Okay.
right. So that's what happens when you record and you can see the audio symbol at the bottom right.
Okay, sir. Yes,
That
sir.
means the slide is recorded with your audio.
If we want for all the slides, what we can do, sir?
Yeah, go to each slide like this. Go to each slide
Same
and
thing.
start recording. That's it. Every slide
Okay.
will have its own audio. Only you go to the slide, the audio will play. Otherwise, it will not play.
Okay. Okay. For everything separately, we have to do that.
Exactly. So this gives
Okay.
you a lot of freedom also, right? So you stop
Yes,
only
sir.
for the slide, take some pass, and then go to the next slide, talk.
Yes.
That freedom is available.
And the alignment between the text and our
Now
presentation will be more.
that you have to control. For example, you can keep a small animation.
Okay.
Click on that, speak about it. Click on that, speak about it. So
Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mohan sir, better you can have a presentation through YouTube now. If you share me the link, I can share with the people for each and every tool.
All right. Every tool, it may be another 2 hours of session. So I'll do one thing. This PowerPoint probably might be interesting to many people. So I will.
No. I'm not asking now, sir. After the session is over, you create your own video.
Yeah. I will create one demonstration of how to use this PowerPoint, and I'll share it.
That's fine. Then another question from one of the participant.
Yes.
For PPT is concerned, okay, but the commerce people, they do have 2 to 3 pages as far as the accounting subject is concerned.
Okay.
Is there any specific tool available to teach accounting problems?
Okay. My question is 2 to 3 pages of what document? Is it an Excel sheet or a Word file or what? What do you have?
Say for example, Excel sheet.
Okay. What you do, use a collaborative tool. Like if you use Google Classroom, you can share your Google Docs, right? Google spreadsheet. If you want to share Microsoft, Excel sheet, you can use Microsoft Team. You can share this document, ask all students to come and collaborate with that. They'll be able to see what you're editing, what you're adding, what you're calculating in the sheet. They'll be able to see that.
Yeah, through Google Docs we can do it, right?
Google Docs is good enough.
Good enough. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I know, right? Then any other question from the participants? I'm getting a lot of positive messages about the session.
Thank you so much, sir.
Excellent, good. Really excellent.
Yeah. Actually, this opens up, a lot of avenues in case if anyone wants hands-on session. It's an FDP, right? If they want any workshop, even I'm ready to host it. Dr. Krishna sir has to support,
Definitely, always there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. I think there's no. Yeah, just a minute. Some of them. Sumati. Sumati. Sumati ma'am, I am trying to unmute you. Please response.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir Mohan sir, it was a
Yes.
wonderful session, sir.
Thank
We
you,
were not
ma'am.
aware of these tools,
Okay.
so it was really wonderful, sir. Thanks for Krishnaraj sir to give us an opportunity also. So we would like you to tell us how far all these tools can be used through Android device, sir. Is there any difficulties in that, sir?
Okay.
All these tools.
See, most of the tools that I have shown are web-based. So web-based tools, it means it doesn't have any dependency on any devices, whether it is Android or Windows or Mac, anything you can use it. So Android is not a big deal, because the students will be happy to use through their mobile phones. So
Yes, sir.
most of the tools, except one of the tools that I said that it works only for the iPad, for the teachers, not for the students. So the students will be able to use all of them as long as it is web-based.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot once again.
Sir, kindly check your chat box. Another question from Dr. Preeti Kirti Lozaza.
Okay.
Good friend of mine. She is working as a assistant professor in Mangalore University.
Okay.
She want to know how can we collaborate Canvas LMS with the tools mentioned. Is there any possibility to have a collaboration with the tools what you have explained today?
Okay. She is using Canvas LMS.
Yeah.
Okay. See, most of the tools. When I said that, I think someone is talking. I think, sir, you can mute someone there.
Yeah, I will try to.
All right. See, when I say that this is integratable with the existing LMS, I have not explored whether it is possible to use with Canvas LMS, to be honest. But then if you go through all these websites, whatever I have shared, they have a clear indication of what are the LMSs that it can be integrated with. So if they say that it can be integrated with Canvas, it should be integrated. Most of them are now trying to work with Google Classroom and Moodle, because these two are capturing the market like anything. So they try to work on these two tools.
Okay. Any other questions?
You said there is a chat box, something? Wait. Oh, so many questions I have.
For my research on reading skills, which tool I can use for data analysis, sir?
I think this question. All right, I see the question here. For my research on reading skills, Which tool I can use for data analysis, sir? Still, I'm not clear about this question. So the topic of the research is reading skills.
I will try to unmute Subhashini.
Okay.
Subhashini Imran. Yeah, you can speak now. Subhashini. Subhashini, can you hear me, ma? Subhashini, I'm trying. Yeah. Subhashini. She is not responding. I unmuted her.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Let me see if there is any interesting questions here. Someone asked my email ID. It is in the PowerPoint. Okay, it's in the PowerPoint. I'll share with you.
Which tool is suitable for mathematics, sir? Sunita Trivedi.
Okay, which tool for the mathematics? I told you there is a tool where you can use your iPad for writing the, the annotations or whatever it is. Even Zoom also you can use to annotate. You can use the big blue button also to annotate and on the live sessions. Okay, so any tool that supports you to write, because typing is very cumbersome for the maths teacher, right? So they may have to write a lot of equations, integral and all those things. So it's easy for them to use. I suggest them to use a touchscreen tablet. Tablet or a small laptop which has a touchscreen, right? So they can use either of them for them to write. Don't depend on the stylus pen. Most of the screens are now capable of drawing finite lines with your hand drawing.
So do the Google Docs support for mathematic formulas?
Yes, whatever you could do with Microsoft Word, you can do with Google Docs.
Okay. Instead of typing, we can use the voice typing method, right, in Google Doc. But I don't know.
Yes, voice typing you can use for anything which is integrated as part of your tool. For example, in my Android phone, when I type any messages, compose any messages, I use the Gboard, keyboard. It has a small voice integration. I just hold it and speak. It just converts my speech to text. So even in Windows also you have the speech to text, but I feel the accuracy is not that good in Windows, but it is more accurate in Google. So you can use the Google keyboard integrated to your Windows also. And from there you can click on that and you can speak. So it will capture. If you have a mobile device, no question. Just you can use the Google keyboard, start talking, it will convert your talk.
Nirmala ma'am?
Shall I, sir?
The Galaxy 7, just a minute. Galaxy 7 Prime. Who's Galaxy J7 Prime?
Sir, I am Rajaram.
Yeah, tell me, you want to ask anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he's our physical director, sir. Dr. Rajaram.
Sir, please tell me.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, it was a wonderful session, sir. Really, it is superb, sir. Sir, I have a doubt to ask you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
Yes, please proceed.
Yeah. Sir, all these things can be taken to the urban students, right? City-based students,
Yeah.
because they are having a lot of communications, lot of contacts, that people can be using all these things easily. But how can we take all these things to the rural people, sir? Because we are having the people more from the rural area.
Okay. Right, sir. My simple question is, when you talk about the rural students, how many of them do not know how to use WhatsApp? How many of them do not know how to use Facebook? How many of them do not have the Gmail ID or any email ID for that matter? Or how many of them do not have a smartphone? These questions.
Everybody is,
Yes, right. I'll tell you some situation from our side. You wouldn't even imagine the kind of facilities available in some of the remote islands here, some people do not have the electricity. Can you believe it? Some of the students do not have the electricity, and electricity, if they don't have access to a computer, they don't have access to a mobile phone, they don't have access to a data connection. You won't believe our university has distributed tablets to those students, reaching those students, telling them, okay, use these tablets. Okay, and then they have also talked to the local data services like the Vodafone to offer access to these sites free, like our university sites, the Moodle sites. Such students are also now motivated to use online. But I believe Indian students are way better than these situations. They are much smarter than us. Only thing is you need to take some initial time, as you have seen in Gilly's 5-level one, the first level and second level. Try to push them to use these online tools, get them collaborated. Then they will automatically, the remaining things will happen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, another question from Shubhashini Imran.
Yes.
She's not able to connect.
All right.
About reading assessment, which tool we can inculcate, sir?
Okay, see, I told you there is one tool that still I have not explored, but I got access to it. It's called Perusal. Okay, Perusal is a tool for reading skills. You share a material among all the students. They'll be able to read, understand, interpret, and give a comment on certain things. The tool will automatically evaluate based on the quality of the comments given by the students or annotations by the students. It will automatically evaluate. So I recommend you to use the tool called Perusal. It's also given in the slide, the last slide. Okay, so Perusal is a tool that needs a license for the institution. So that's why I could not explore it here. But we attended a session by our learning team, so we got used to it now. We did an experiment in that. It works perfectly all right.
Subhashini, madam.
Sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, please.
Sir, Dr. Mohan, sir, it's a very, very wonderful session. It's mind-blowing. Yeah, it's a very new techniques in education sector. Sir, I am a full-time research scholar in President's College, University of Madras.
Okay.
And my research topic is upon reading skills, sir. So I have taken 2 schools field work.
Okay.
And I got the sheets, worksheets from them, like a questionnaire.
Okay.
Which tool we can evaluate for questionnaire, sir?
Okay, so this is what I said. For questionnaire, for the questionnaire, as simple as your Google, the survey. What is it called?
Survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
As simple as that, right? But on the higher level, you can use any of the assessment tools I have mentioned. Most of them support the questionnaires and polling. You can use them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the test, sir? We have given a comprehension test, like 4 tasks I have given. To evaluate that task, which tool we can use it, sir, for the data analysis, like creating a pie chart or graph to bring enough finalize. Yeah.
See, you have a set of questions. You are assessing them and you are evaluating them. You are giving the grade, right?
Okay.
And then finally, you will be putting them in a graphical representation.
Yeah. Sir,
you can use any of the assessment tools that I have mentioned. Assessment tools. You can use any of them.
Assessment.
All of them.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome.
Yeah, we came to the end of the session.
Okay.
Sir, it's really what the people said. It's a mind-blowing.
Thank you, sir.
I too learned a lot from today.
Yes, sir, of course.
Actually, this is an opportunity for me to do a lot of research and come out with this tool. So this has given me also an opportunity to, explore.
Visual learning.
Yes, exactly.
Fine. I request Dr. J. Nirmala Devi, Head Department of English, to proceed for a vote of thanks. Before that, I would like to thank the coordinator, Dr. A. Vennila, for her wonderful support throughout the faculty development program, and the entire faculty team of Bharathiar University Arts and Science College, Pollachi. And a special thanks to you, sir. Formal vote of thanks will be followed by Dr. Nirmala Devi. Nirmala, madam, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you is all that takes to express gratitude infinitely. On behalf of Bharathiar University Arts and Science College, Pollachi, and on my own behalf, it is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks to this faculty development program. I extend my grateful thanks to Dr. Mohan, who has set a perfect platform for our online teaching, what type of tools to be used, and how to develop contents, and how to face challenges in online teaching. This is really the need of the hour, sir. Thank you for updating us with all these things. I also extend my sincere thanks to the FDP convener and our principal, Dr. S. Krishnaraj, for his keen interest, guidance, and active involvement to make this FDP a reality. I place on record my deep sense of gratitude to all the delegates from diverse places for their treasured input and active participation. Thank you one and all for your cordial cooperation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, participants. Mohan sir, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. The feedback form will be posted in the WhatsApp group and and will be sent through mail. So I request all the delegates to kindly fill and post your feedback forms. Thank you.